My name's Elias. I serve here on the not on the worship team, on the usher team. Yeah, you don't want me on worship, trust me. Yeah, but tonight we'll be looking at Mark 11, verses 22, and it says, "So Jesus answered and said to them, 'Have faith in God.'" Say it with me. Have faith in God. Now, we're going to be spending the rest of our lives unraveling what faith is and how it operates, but the simplest definition of faith is to act like the Bible is true. So how would you act if you are an heir of God, an heir to the throne of heaven, you know? So faith requires corresponding action. And Jesus continues on to say, "For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, 'Be removed and be cast into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes those things which he says will be done, he shall have whatsoever he says." Isn't it interesting how Jesus mentions the speaking part of faith 3 times and the believing part only once? And that's not only just in this scripture, it's unraveled throughout the whole Bible. If you look at Genesis, in the beginning, God said, then he saw. He said, then he saw. So sound comes before sight. It was also seen last week when Pastor Monica preached. You can go back there and take a look. And in Matthew 8, the centurion approached Jesus and he said, "I need you to heal my servant." And Jesus said, "Okay, I'm going to go heal your servant." And the centurion said, "No, speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed." Isn't it fascinating how the only time ever written in Scripture where Jesus, the commander of the universe, marveled in a good way, now becomes the standard of our faith? Now he says, you do what I do. You operate in this direction and you speak the word. You know, this past year, we've heard a lot of things that have been said, not only amongst Christians, but amongst the non-believers as well. And in my experience, we worked with a bunch of restaurant owners, and last year was just devastating to them. It was absolute bloodbath. And there was a point last year where I kept getting called to these business owners and their businesses and met up with the team, and they said, "What do we do? What do we do?" And I was like, "I don't know, like, you think this is my first go at the pandemic too, Like, what do you expect me to do, And I was sitting at one of our clients, and he's like, "I don't understand." He's like, "There are no customers coming in, And I'm like, okay. And by that time, I was like, "You know what, God? What do you want me to do?" He's like, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "What are you going to do?" He said, I was like, "What am I going to do?" And he said, "The instructions have been written. They were written 2,000 years ago. They're the same thing for any pandemic, anything you're going through, So I said, "Okay, we're going to speak the word." So I spoke, and I'm like, "Lord, bring down the provision." And it was interesting because I had a meeting with a couple of days after with him, and he said, "I don't understand." He's like, "There were a bunch of customers coming in, and he couldn't stop them from coming in. He actually had to, And right till the end of the night, he said, I had to kick customers out. That was to the point that he got to. Same thing with another client of ours. She was like our favorite client, and we're like, "Okay, God, we're praying extra for this one. It's going to be good." Then boom, a bank gives her a check for $10,000, And that's the kind of provision that we see, And yeah, it was interesting. So we were at Stampede this past year with some friends, and we were checking out the fireworks. And we were in the grandstand, and we were walking around. We were about to head out, and then there was a mom with her kid, and the kid was acting up, and he was going all crazy. And then the mom looked at the kid, and she said, "I paid too much to get you in here. If you're gonna act up, I paid way too much to get you in here." And you ought to just tell the devil that sometimes. I thought about being depressed, I thought about being anxious, but Jesus paid too high a price. He paid way too much to get us in. We're supposed to have dominion. We're supposed to speak things and call them into existence and say, "No, Jesus paid for everything."